Greetings everyone, this is Vakar Kovi from TFT Perspective, and today I'll quickly go over what's happening in Russia-Ukraine war, how President Trump's new policy is going to shape up the things, what has been discussed in the Munich Security Conference, because this was a huge conference which happens, I think, regularly. And in that, we had seen addressed by the US Vice President, Mr. J.D. Vance, and also the Defense Minister, Mr. Pete Hegseth. And then there was a response which came from European Union, including the chairperson of the Commission of Europe, Ursula von der Leyen, and also some response from the German president as well as the German defense minister. So I think these are some very important talking points for today. Now, if you go back and see what Trump disclosed in one of the press conferences, that he had talked to Russian Federation President Vladimir Putin, and this I think talk lasted for almost more than an hour. And in that, the peace for Russia-Ukraine war was discussed. Also, probably when it was decided that it's going to be Kingdom of Saudi Arabia because His Highness the Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, or the Crown Prince, is a friend of both, and he has played, I think, a major role in resolving conflicts at international level. There was also, I think, exchange of prisoners for which President Putin had thanked the Crown Prince. So this is, I think, very very interesting because it has long-term implications for the U.S. establishment itself. How does the CIA and the U.S. military sees it? Then, of course, what is the feeling in the Capitol Hill? And then, when you come to Europe, you already have the AFD now looking at elections within a couple of days in Germany, which maybe if it overturns the conservative and the center left, so you may find a far right government coming up in Germany. We have seen open support by Mr. Elon Musk for the AFD, which is again an area of concern for the European Union. But then, of course, there are Eurosceptics who would like basically the right wing rising on both sides of Atlantic. They have a very strong, uh, you know, let's say, right wing man in Washington D.C., and now they want to basically sweep the European Union. Now, after this announcement, there was a mixed reaction which came from different quarters, especially in European Union, because they felt that they were left out, especially President Zelensky of Ukraine, because he's the one whose country has fought the war, lost. And if you look at the figures, there are different figures from Russian sources, there are different figures coming from the Western sources. Some say that it is between 100,000 to 200,000 killed soldiers and 300,000 injured. But if you look at the Russian estimates, it is more than half a million. So this is huge loss. Same is said about Russia, although our own assessment suggests that there could be a couple of thousand which have been killed, and definitely closer to 100,000 which are wounded. So it's a huge war which is taking. Everybody wants peace, but is it going to be on the lines or the perception of President Putin? That's very interesting. Now, at present, Russian Federation in this war has gained almost one fifth of Ukraine's real estate, including four fifths of their seaboard. I think, other than the port of Odessa, everything has gone to Russia, right from Crimea, Sebastopol, and then, of course, Mariupol, etc. So as far as the war is concerned, the Ukrainian side is quite demoralized, especially after this announcement. And there are reports now of, let's say, leaving battlefield by soldiers of Ukraine, and a lot of frustration in Europe. Now, when JD Vance, and before that, the defense minister Pete Hegseth also addressed the audience. He said that it was absurd to think of going back to pre 2014 situation. So it means that whatever has been gained by Russian Federation probably is now lost, and that's where the negotiation would start. He also said that there was, I would say, no question of Ukraine getting the NATO membership. So it means that all those uh, people who were in US establishment or in the European Union or all those who fought the wars are now basically they've lost. And Russian position has been right from the outset very clear that one, Ukraine should not get NATO membership. It should remain a neutral zone, and there should be no interference, and it should be people should be allowed to basically do the business as it was happening earlier with the Russian Federation. Because we look at Kievan Rus history some time back, Ukraine and Russia are considered as brothers or sisters. So in case President Trump and his uh, advisors think that this is how it is, then probably President Putin has won this war, and European Union is basically now under retreat. U.S. establishment is also under retreat. So we leave it there. Now come to the implications. There were also, I think, some statements by uh, people in European Union, like the defense minister of Lithuania, who said that in case US is going to abandon something worse to that effect, like that, and leave European Union Ukraine in lurch, then maybe European Union would look at the development of their independent, let's say, economic framework, political framework, and also military framework. So are they looking at basically giving a backseat to NATO, or NATO is going to be under stress or maybe dissolved? I don't know, because there's also discussion of now all NATO members to increase defense spending from 2 to now almost 5%. That's what's being demanded by the US. So all told, I think this is an interesting situation, and let's see. In case we have a quick meeting between President Trump and President Putin, hosted by uh, Crown Prince Zionist Mohammed bin Salman. One, of course, this will be historic in the sense that now there will be a Middle Eastern Muslim country hosting an international conflict resolution, you know, or water mission conference or meeting in Saudi Arabia. Traditionally it used to be, European capitals like Brussels, or you had treaties like Treaty of Lausanne or Severus, or you know so many other Yalta and all that. So this was basically done in the Western capital or Geneva. But now this I think is good news for the global South and for Islamic world also. That Saudi Arabia is likely to hold this meeting, which can usher in an era of peace. But we are still worried about what happens in West Asia, especially Israel-Palestine conflict, because again President Trump has some funny ideas regarding that. But all told, I think the meet between President Trump and President Putin in Saudi Arabia would be an epoch-making meeting, and let's hope that sense prevails, and the world moves towards peace, because there have been too many people who have lost their lives, civilians as well as soldiers, and world cannot afford to continue with this war. Thank you very much.